Hello everyone, Discord here, and welcome back to another real-life zoo tour. Today we are in busy Amersfoort Zoo, and I am joined here by Wyatt.
Hello, Wyatt Andrews Workshop here. This is my video. Welcome to my channel.
Yeah. Wait, your channel? No.
I'm taking ownership. This is a mutiny.
Oh God. Yeah, everyone knew Wyatt was coming because I've basically been teasing it for the last 2 episodes. So yeah, today we are in Dierenpark Amersfoort, and as you can see by the parking lot and all the people here, it was a very busy day. This was the first day that the zoos were open again after this was the first day that no longer required vaccinations for zoos, and also it was a beautiful day, so that probably contributed to the busyness.
Indeed.
But yeah. So we invited Wyatt because the zoo has a dino area, which we'll get to about halfway through the video.
Okay.
But overall, this zoo is pretty cool. Wyatt, are you familiar with Erik van Vliet?
Definitely not.
Okay.
I'm very much a American Australian zoo guy. That's sort of my area of expertise. Right. But just looking at this, like, this is gorgeous. Like, it reminds me a lot of American and especially Australian zoos, just in terms of its budget and aesthetic. It looks really cool, and I'm excited to get into it. Looks like we're heading into an aviary right now. Yeah,
so right now we're going over one of the many I want to say adventure trails, because that's what Beekse calls them, but I know that they... it's called the Climb Everything route.
Cool.
And they're just all these kind of elevated climbing frames. I didn't notice the sign when I went into this one, but they're for ages under 12.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because
I see a lot of adults in there, so that's clearly not a well-established rule.
You're allowed to go with your kids, is basically the rule.
Okay, alright.
The thing that makes it for kids is that they all end with a slide, which I didn't know going into it. But it offers some awesome views of the animals, so I don't regret it one bit.
This is super immersive and not what you would usually see in like. There's like adventure trails in zoos, but like you rarely see them like going through exhibits like this. This is really neat.
And this is one of many, I'll say. But yeah, Erik van Vliet, for those who are watching and don't know, is a very famous zoo designer from the Netherlands, but he also works in many zoos all over the world. But this zoo is kind of his baby, I would almost say. Like, he designed about 90% of the zoo. Really actually 80% according to his portfolio, I think. And he's written a book called Exhibiting Zoo Animals, which is an amazing book that tells you everything about zoo design, from layout to theming to immersion. And you'll see a lot of his techniques throughout this zoo, which is really cool.
Yeah, I really need to get my hands on that.
Here we are in a little viewing area for the spectacled bear, which I was expecting that today we'd be able to talk about how these are part of the new DLC, but
yeah, damn it.
But we're not.
The Wetlands DLC.
But yeah, we're in this like little cage area, which I think might actually be the old backstage area for the bears.
Interesting.
I'm not sure. This is a pretty old zoo. It was founded in 1948, so it's about 74 years old. And I found an old black and white image of this habitat, which I think back then had sun bear in it.
Okay.
But yeah, the kind of structure, you can't really see it from here, but there's like a structure in the back with a waterfall. That is still the exact same as it was in that picture. So this is a very old habitat that's been kind of repurposed for the Andean bears here. Which
something I noticed going into this little sort of cave viewing area was this like really old like rusty gate, and
yeah, exactly.
I wonder if like that was part of it, and like the rock work is sort of that like level of detail where like they have like the like ripples of it, but not so much like the texture, which is what you see in like a lot of hoof stockyards in like older rows and stuff like that. So it's a really neat piece of like history that's sort of been like freshly
preserved.
repurposed for the bears. Yeah.
What's also interesting, you couldn't hear it that well, but in that area there was like a guy saying, "Bears eat everything," and it was just, I don't know if it was intentional, but it sounded like it was completely glitching out, and it made me very uncomfortable while looking at that bear.
He's not wrong, especially with spectacled bears, but I think spectacled bears are among the more herbivorous in that family. They will go after like mammals and stuff, but I think for the most part they eat like leaves and fruit in their habitats.
Mm-hmm. So here we go into the more regular adult area for this this aviary, which, by the way, houses monk parakeet, cockatiels, and sun concours.
Interesting. I don't take it those are like geographically consistent.
I don't think so. To be fair, I know very little about subspecies or anything, because this is the signage of the zoo.
That is very simple.
It's very minimalistic. So this is one of, I want to say, 3 zoos that a couple of years ago tried something new with their signage, which was minimalistic signs and providing information through an app. That didn't go well. People were not a fan. Rightfully so. I think it's the other zoos are Dierenpark, which we already visited, and Wildlands. Both Dierenpark and Wildlands have reverted back to more traditional signs. Wildlands actually has amazing signage.
Gotcha.
And this zoo has kind of kept those minimalistic signs, but also provided some additional signage, like the stuff you can see here.
Yeah, these like murals are really neat, and you can definitely tell like that's sort of their way of compensating. But like it works. It's not like it doesn't feel rushed or anything.
Yeah. And to be fair, the bigger animals do have a little bit more information, like where they come from and what they eat, and whether or not they're UICN.
Yeah, and I can sort of see that, like with the not sun bear, spectacled bear sign.
Spectacled bears, yeah. So this is where I decided to not follow the flow of people and go the opposite way. And we meet the Asian small-clawed otters, which is part of the new DLC.
Oh yeah. I was really gunning for those because, like, as we can see here, like so many zoos have them, even more so than like North American or giant river otters. So
yeah,
those are definitely a welcome addition.
Real quickly, you could barely see it because I failed to record it properly, but over there you could see one of the design techniques that we're going to be seeing a lot of in this zoo. It's called reverse habitat immersion. Are you familiar with it?
I feel like it kind of speaks for itself, but explain it to me.
So regular habitat immersion is when you try to immerse the visitor into the habitat by pulling the habitat into the visitor area. So you kind of hide barriers and stuff like that through sightlines. Reverse habitat immersion is when you kind of do the opposite. You bring the visitor area into the habitat.
I see.
So usually by having a road go through the glass barrier into the habitat, or having the same flooring in the habitat as in the viewing area. Okay. And in this case, you could see a little dock go through the glass, which is pretty neat. Also, something interesting we can see here is a dog path. This zoo allows you to bring your dog. Wow,
that is
very surprised by that.
Yeah, that is very rare. Like most zoos just sort of outlaw that unless it's a service animal.
Yeah, it's very annoying. Like as if kids aren't annoying enough. Now you have to watch out for dogs. But yeah, this is a little Prairie Dog Enclosure.
Okay. Yeah, I can immediately tell by the glass bubbles that's a staple.
There's no glass bubbles.
Oh.
You're just right up to them.
That is new. That is a new take on it. You could just reach out and grab one.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they can just cross the roads, I think, if they want to. I'm not quite sure. What's pretty cool, we'll get to it in a little bit, there's this kind of drill structure you can see over there that's going up and down into a hole. And you can kind of hold on to it and it will take you down into the hole with it, which is super cool.
Oh, I see.
We'll have a little look at it here. I try not to record other people, and it was very crowded there. Also, kind of interesting here is in the walls there's little speakers that actually play prairie dog sounds.
Oh, that's neat. And yeah, you see the drill in action there. That is really cool.
It's so neat. It's very playful. Like this zoo, like with the climb everything route and things like this. This zoo is very catered to children. But
and then, do those prairie dogs not just like walk out? The barriers are very well hidden.
So there is barriers around, and the thing you walk over, of course, is like a wildlife.
Oh, they can't cross that.
Yeah.
I see. Interesting.
Like it's probably that's also why there was a separate route for dogs, because that thing is probably like
oh, definitely
like hot wired. So over here we have the scimitar oryx, which has a lovely little natural scene.
Yeah, this zoo is like, I'm noticing sort of a theme into sort of like barrier, like hiding. Like it was sort of the opposite with like the otters, but with the prairie dogs and the oryx, like the fencing is sort of very minimal, or just at the very least well hidden. Like with this really wooden fence, this wooden fence is mostly just sticks, but it seems to get the job done.
Yeah, it's just there's so many different ideas at play here, and you can really tell that this is like kind of where the designer kind of really experimented a lot and tried to.
And I love the way a lot of these habitats are still embracing like the sort of old zoo. Like I saw with the spectacled bear, and was gonna mention with the otters before we ran out of time, is like all of that brickwork and the ironwork is all still there, but it's just being utilized differently, which is really, really neat.
Yeah. So around here we can also see a bunch of like older buildings that I'm not sure are still in use. We couldn't really see anything in there, but yeah, there is something there.
Huh.
We just don't know what. Maybe it's just leftovers from old stuff.
Tiny people.
There's a little staff area as well.
Very cool. I would be taking a picture right about now for reference. Inspiration.
Yeah, totally. I always try to get those backstage peeks. So here's a fun little sign. It says, the red panda, dangerously cute. A lot of people misinterpret that. A lot of people interpret it as the red panda being dangerous, which they're not.
Yeah. I assume it like means like their cuteness sort of gets them in trouble with like the
exactly
and stuff. Yeah,
because people want them as pets and stuff like that.
Exactly.
But
I mean, I can see why.
Had some offspring here, which is always great, because usually red pandas are not doing anything but sleeping up in the trees. But whenever there's juveniles around, it's
so
always so playful and there's so much action.
Oh my god, look at them go!
So I mean, it's my favorite animal for a reason. I can't not record that stuff when it's happening right in front of me. But you also got
this enclosure is really neat, the way like the mesh is being held up by all the different branches. Like you can tell there's sort of like the big central pole, but like all of the other like trees that are strewn about are also holding it up. That's not something you see very often.
Yeah. And so over on this side we also have a little bumper cart, like mini scooter thing. There's like a whole playground, merry-go-round. There's all sorts of things. Which just fun for kids. But yeah, I don't often see red panda enclosures with mesh on them, I'll be honest.
Yeah, they're usually open topped, I've noticed, just because they aren't like quite as agile as like a monkey or something. But
yeah, I mean they tend to escape pretty often.
Oh really?
And not from here, but like I've heard a lot of stories from like Rotterdam Zoo, Beekse Berg as well, where they have escaped in the past.
Yeah, there was one at the Virginia Zoo that escaped and was just never found.
Oh.
So it's just out in the woods somewhere.
Oh god.
But yeah, these guys are delightful. I like this little sort of just Chinese.
Yeah,
little,
there's also
like,
those little statues.
Yeah, that's really cool. Just sort of
just bits of.
I don't want to say subtle, but just sort of minimal bits of.
Yeah, like it's really cheap, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, it's not like kitschy or anything.
All right, so here's the best part. I had to leave this in because just the jumping and the like when they stand on their hind legs. You know the video with the rock?
Uh-huh. And they always like lift their arms up.
Yeah. Yeah, this is why it's lovely when they have to. I think they moved out, and one of them moved to. Oh wait, no, that's a different zoo actually. Never mind. It's Overloan, one we did a few episodes ago. Their juveniles moved to other zoos.
Gotcha.
One of which I was intending to visit soon. I don't remember which though. But it's kind of fun when they announce where they're going, so you can actually be like, oh hey. But yeah, so there's a playground. Here's the best gift shop.
This is really cool.
I don't know how old this is, but just look at that orangutan.
He has a little fez on.
I just love old stuff like that.
Yeah. We're coming up on a really old-looking cage here.
Yeah, I don't remember which this is, but that's why I have a list. This is for the southern pig-tailed macaque. Right, there we also saw just another little viewing area of the pandas. But yeah, this is a southern pig-tailed macaque.
This is very cool.
They were not outside, sadly. But yeah, this is a lot more traditional. Like, I would imagine that in the past, these would have been separated up more and even smaller.
Yeah.
And also here you can see, this is actually something he also mentioned in his book, like creating this inlet into the area to create like a more unique viewing area into something that used to be straight.
That's something I do a lot with my exhibits. If it's just like a straight line with like a single fence material, I'll like sort of bore in just a little bit and create like a smaller like enclosed glass viewing area. It really helps break things up.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, on the left we could see a little train, which is the Berenboemel, which loosely translates to bear bender.
Interesting.
I think it costs a couple bucks to ride, and I'm not sure if it's worth it. I haven't ridden it, but we'll see it around. It doesn't go past that many exhibits, to be honest. Here,
I'm not usually much of a...
We can once again, sorry to interrupt, see some habitat immersion with those lines, those platforms kind of continuing through the fence.
That is so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
But I was saying like I'm not usually much of like a tram guy in zoos. I usually just like to go everything on foot because I like to see as much as possible.
I mean, if they offer some unique views through it, it's definitely worth it.
Like at the San Diego Zoo, I'll sometimes go on the Sky Tram, but...
So this, I'm gonna be completely honest, this is probably the saddest chimpanzee enclosure I've ever seen.
I was gonna say, is this for the chimps?
Yeah,
yeah, that is rough.
I never realized how lucky we are with big Americans, like the fact that they are able to create like these big islands for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely very cagey over here. Here's a little sign tells you where you can look at the indoor area, which we just saw with those platforms. But yeah, this, I mean, they've got a lot of climbing space as a result of it.
I imagine they're pretty enriched, but this would obviously not be built in the 21st century.
Yeah. So, let's see, where are we headed next? It's kind of a big sort of... Oh yeah, this is cool. Of course, because there's dogs in the zoo, you have little water bowls and stuff all over the place.
That's cool.
There's also a little donation thing over here. Recently, there started to be a... What's the word for it? A deposit on small plastic bottles. So that people stop, throwing them away everywhere.
Yeah.
So what zoos and many places very cleverly capitalize on is to create trash cans for those plastic bottles, where you're basically just donating them. So they can get the deposit off of them.
Cool.
So.
And I see rhinos, I think.
Asian elephant.
Oh,
fact,
wow, okay.
Which I think this is a very interesting habitat because elephant habitats are usually much more open and kind of not as lush.
Yeah, this is very like sort of forested.
And also, I haven't taken a look at the blueprint of it, but I really, really love how not straight it is.
Like, yeah, it's very curvy.
Yeah, it's all over the place, and I'm down for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, sort of as a result of all the overgrowth, the barriers sort of continue to be very well hidden. It's really immersive.
Yeah, and just imagine this is during like the end of the winter. I can imagine in spring and summer this is incredibly lush and beautiful. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I do have to say it's a bit of a bummer that I didn't go here during those seasons, because especially we'll see in the dino area, things are a little bit dead.
All right. We'll see.
But I mean, it fits the dinosaurs in a way.
Yeah.
But a jungly aesthetic would fit them better. Here we have a big grandstand, which I would assume they use for shows of some sort.
Yeah.
Like feeding presentations.
They have a similar thing at the Denver Zoo.
And in the back, we can also start to see the stalls for them, the indoor area. Unless I look away from them. Oh yeah, they're in the back, we can kind of see it.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the more like beautiful elephant habitats I've seen, just sort of on account of the landscaping.
Mm-hmm. So on the other side of this place is actually the hyena habitat, but I didn't know that. So we go back here at the end of the day. We can see another slide though.
Oh boy.
And also over here you can see more reverse habitat immersion with the log going through the glass.
Oh yeah.
It's literally like, I think it's probably, I dare say it's impossible to find a habitat here that doesn't have some form of that technique being applied. Like everywhere there's glass at least, you'll find it.
And when we were peering through that glass, I was suddenly reminded of your, I think it's a sloth bear exhibit in your, I'm going to butcher this, Beak recreation. Just sort of the intimacy of it, and like the bridges going over the whole thing. It's definitely very similar. Yeah,
I want to say that the same designer was also involved in that project, but I'm not 100% sure.
I have to assume. I have to assume they were at least inspired by it.
Yeah, he has worked. Like he started his career at Beeksbergen, which I feel like is worth mentioning. It's a really interesting guy. I don't know if he ever did any English interviews, but I highly suggest looking him up, because his story it's super interesting. How he found a market that didn't exist, basically, which is zoo design.
Yeah, he sounds very enterprising and lucky. This would be like a dream job for any of us zoo nerds.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, over there we can actually see some concept art of the indoor elephant house, which was kind of displayed there as a map, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And here we see some more like traditional elephant fencing, but also a moat.
Cool. And I love all the logs strewn about. Like you see that a lot in elephants exhibits, but especially here, like the verticality of them is really neat. Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of interesting. That sign says, an elephant kicked this rock against this window. We have a little picture of how big that rock was. Yeah.
It's a really neat interpretive display.
Yeah. Elephants are big boys.
Big boys.
But yeah. Here on the inside, once again, we see another slide through the bush. It's just all over the place. Cool. And no dogs allowed in the indoor area. That's a sign you would never see in a zoo, because no dogs allowed anywhere. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for this zoo, it's important that they mention it for the indoor areas. So yeah, more of those same kind of mural signs, and the exit of the slide area. This one doesn't go through the habitat, oddly enough. Not sure what's up with that.
And like, I've seen a lot of sort of indoor elephant viewing centers, but none like quite like this in terms of like the theming and just how like narrow everything is. Usually it's just sort of a straight line like viewing their indoor holding, but this is cool.
So there we have a little view of the outdoor holding as well through the glass.
Neat.
And
I wonder if that was the same panel they broke.
Might be. And yeah, here we see kind of their main indoor yard.
Very cool. And
we see,
yeah, this is also a lot more landscaped than your average like elephant. Like especially the indoor areas are usually quite barren, but they found a way to make it lush.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a little juvenile. I love the ceiling as well. It's just so much glass.
That is really cool, yeah, with the supports.
Yeah, being made out of wood, also a bit more natural. Big fan. I think they actually have a 24/7 live camera of this habitat as well.
Cool.
Which is pretty neat. Gotta love little juvenile.
I love how fuzzy the juveniles can be.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, down the stairs, and in the back here, oh god, it's so crowded, but up there you can see the climbing frame. Going through some sort of temple tower.
God, the way like the way the bridge like goes over this area in particular is so cool, just because of how narrow everything is with the guests both over and under.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's packed, which is kind of fun. Like I've been up to a lot of small zoos recently, and they have to make like really creative use of their space.
Yeah,
and you kind of get the same feeling here, even though it is a much larger zoo.
Yeah, they take good advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean it's cozy. I mean, of course, in the indoor area, you want to use your space efficiently because it's a lot more expensive to build. But yeah, there's a ton of little props and stuff here as well, which is really cool.
Ooh, a skull. I thought for some reason, it's because of the window behind it, but I thought the skull was just like a hallway that you could pass through, and I was wondering if people would trip over the tusks, but...
Yeah, and here's some other little props. It's hard to see through the window.
Yeah, a lot of glare, but...
I think there's a tail point and some teeth.
Yeah, elephant teeth are freaky, especially like the molars.
Mm-hmm. You got a big foot.
The foot, yeah.
You can just be like, nuts. Oh, that nail is as big as my fist. Yeah, and also nice to see actually the actual indoor housing.
Yeah,
individual stalls.
That is really cool.
So yeah, take your screenshots. And over there you can see a little measuring thing if they're around. You can kind of measure yourself. So
and
yeah,
the fact that it's like a greenhouse too is like super unique. I'm definitely getting a lot of inspiration.
I'm not sure if those plants were real, I'll be honest.
Oh, well,
they felt a little plasticky when I was in there.
Okay, but at least looks like one.
Yeah. So over here we can kind of see. This is how most of the zoo kind of looks with those little wooden, fences.
Yeah, they're like barriers. I noticed that a lot.
And they do have a different barrier type later on, which is pretty neat. But we'll get to that when we get to it. First, we have a very little Japanese area, and we're gonna see another DLC animal.
Oh boy.
Make your bets now.
I'm like trying to remember like through the list like what this could be.
We've got a little a Japanese garden. At least I think it's a Japanese garden. I'm not a gardener expert. I think this sign says it. Crap, I couldn't read it. I'm 99% sure it's a Japanese Zen garden.
It looks like Japanese.
Yeah, we got bonsais, we got cherry blossom trees.
Yeah.
This is definitely something you'd also want to see in bloom, I think, with the cherry blossoms. Sure. I think probably around now should be when they start blooming. So, But yeah, we got a little quaint little waterfall.
Very beautiful. Oh, I think I know what the animal is, but I'm not going to spoil it.
People at home might still need some time to guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can also see a little Japanese sort of structure in the back there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like this. It's just a little garden. Actually, I was... when am I going to upload this video? I don't want to spoil Ethan's episode of Dharma Shadi. I guess I'm not going to say anything. Hey, we have those pieces in game. This fish.
Oh. Do we? I thought we had like the little dragon topper.
Yeah, maybe it's more of a dragon. But I mean, same thing.
Yeah,
really.
you can use it for the same thing.
Yeah, here's a little Zen pebble garden. And here we get to the animal. So it's the Japanese crane, or the red-crowned crane.
Yep, I was right. So when I was going through the list, and it was red-crowned crane, I assumed they meant like crowned crane as in like gray-crowned cranes, like in Africa.
Right.
But yeah, these are red-crowned cranes, which are from Asia, Japan specifically.
Yeah, Japan and China as well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sadly they were locked away, like you saw, probably because of the bird flu.
That was quite a fence.
Yeah, it's a temporary fence for the bird flu, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Still around. I'm getting sick of it. I really want to enter my aviaries again. I really wonder when zoos are gonna adapt, because the bird flu seems more and more frequent and it lasts longer every time, it's seeming. So I wonder when zoos are gonna just give up on walker aviaries at this point, which would be a bummer. But yeah, here's a bunch of little statues that I think were for sale for like a charity auction type of thing. I think that's what this sign was talking about. Can't read it from here, so I'm not sure. But yeah, it's just all sorts of things. There's a lot of like really weird and unique things in this zoo that I think might be basic inspiration.
The thing is, like, a lot of it's unique, but none of it feels like, oh, that's kind of like awkward. Like, it all feels very well integrated.
Yeah. So what I love, we're kind of missing it now, but when you walk up to this bridge, the reflection in the glass almost makes it look like the bridge is actually connecting to the island.
Yeah.
I thought that was... I don't know if that's intentional, but I thought that was super neat. But yeah, here we have the Japanese macaque in the middle of this big lake.
Very, very cool. I like the like they have both this little house and then the actual climbing frame. That's a really cool juxtaposition.
Yeah. And here we have a smoking area with a fire extinguisher. Because you never know. Yeah, I love this zoo. It takes a very different approach. Like, you see some naturalistic habitats, but there's a lot of theming here that is
for sure
animals kind of living in human-like spaces, which a lot of zoos are trying to be more naturalistic, and I like that. I prefer that, I would say, but some variety is nice. And
for sure.
This zoo definitely,
especially with animals like these, where they are sort of so ingrained in their country's culture, it only makes sense to theme their enclosure accordingly.
Yeah, exactly. And this zoo also does a lot of more creative things with the concept of animals in human spaces, which we'll get to when we get... it's actually pretty soon, I think, we'll get to the City of Old, which is probably my favorite area of this zoo. From a design standpoint. Yeah. So there should be some koi in that pond, but I didn't spot any. Well, in the back here, we have a super interesting playground. You can see kind of a wooden framed dome as we're passing this restaurant. You can see kind of this wooden framed dome, which I'm pretty sure playground elements are actually hanging from. Which is super neat. I didn't really get close up to it, but yeah, I think it's a really, really interesting playground.
Yeah, that is really cool. I'd be very excited if I saw that when I was a kid.
Yeah. Also, we have Vliet and zo. It's a pun that I don't think I'm capable of explaining. Like Enzo means N stuff, basically. So it's fries and stuff, but zoo.
Fries and stuff.
Yeah.
Zoo.
So I think it's actually already time for the City of Old. We're gonna get our first glimpses into it. So over here, reverse habitat immersion goes wild, I would say. Over here you can see there's a little staircase going kind of up this wall, and you can see it continues into the habitat.
Whoa.
And I think
That
even
is-
all the way across.
That is some crazy, like, eye-level viewing.
So yeah, this is the Himedrize baboon, of course. And right now we're going around. We can see some big phases, some climbing structures, but in the back you can see some kind of Egyptian sort of things.
So
yeah.
it's all sort of Egyptian, like Middle Eastern species in here, in this area?
Kind of.
Okay.
This zoo, this area is about the roles animals have played in history.
Okay, so
Which-
it's global?
It's super cool. Basically, it's some Egyptian, Roman, and there's also a little bit of Asia.
I
in
see.
there. But yeah, just look at this. So you've got this pathway going
Yeah.
through the
That
habitat,
is nuts.
looking to the other side.
That
This
is
bridge. It's so cool. It's really neat.
It really feels like you're in there with them.
Yeah, and it helped that they went all the way up to the glass
Yeah.
to show us their butt. But yeah, it's really freaking cool. And just the concept, we'll see more of it when we get to the lions. Spoiler. But just the education is like, this is not a topic you see often in zoos. It's so unique to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
How animals have influenced history, how they were perceived by humans in history. It's really cool. Also, here we have a weather rock. I don't know if this is a common joke where you're from, but it's like, if the rock is swinging, it's windy. If the rock is wet, it's raining.
That is, I feel like that would be too straightforward for Americans. We'd just be like, yup, that is true.
We could also see a little area that was shut off, so I'm not sure what was over there. But yeah, here we have kind of the main entrance of the City of Old.
I recognize this from the intro.
Yeah, or the Stad der Oudheid, as it is in Dutch. But yeah, on that side, we can see the other side of that viewing area with the baboons. And here in the middle, we have kind of a town square. So this area is a bit of a town, basically. So there's some farm animals. Yeah.
I think this is sort of like a, I forget exactly what it's called, but I think in Florida it's called like the Holy Land experience, and it's sort of like this biblical themed like city, and they have like a petting zoo in it, but it's also like religious creationist propaganda, so like it's probably not worth visiting, but it's definitely very similarly themed. So that it has that going.
So it's like
for it.
the animals that were in the barn with
Yeah,
boy
exactly.
Jesus.
Yeah, boy.
And yeah, there we have it. Fucking dogs. So yeah, here similarly we have the miniature donkey, and there's also the black-headed sheep. I think is their name.
And then are you allowed to...
Black-headed Persian is the English
Oh.
name. There we go.
Are you allowed to pet the donkeys, or?
So, I always assume no, but there was actually an employee standing here that was basically saying like, yeah, I mean, if they want to, if they don't want to be pet, they can move away. So it's really
Yeah,
up to the
but-
donkey. So as
It's
soon as
sort
I
of
heard
like
her say that, I tried to pet one.
It's sort of like a stingray touch
But,
pull. Like, you can touch them if you can reach them, but it's up to them. Really.
Yeah. So the donkey did kind of pull back a bit when I tried to pet it. So I just left it alone. But yeah, here we get kind of into the houses. I'm not sure what the idea here is for the animals, theming wise. I think it's just we have a cool area. Let's put some animals in it. But here it talks about a bunch of different dragons, which are just lizards or skinks, stuff like that.
I guess. I think like European dragons specifically, like in the West, are sort of inspired by like stories of like lions and hippopotamus and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess lizards qualify, especially the like frilled lizards and stuff like that are pretty crazy.
Yeah. We also have the null monitor in here.
Ooh.
Which sadly was still pretty young and small, and therefore shy and hidden. So I did not see it, which is a bummer. But what's also neat is what I was just looking at. Like behind a bit of cloth was a speaker, and it was actually playing some kind of just like ambient village noises, which was pretty cool. Like they're really setting a scene here, and it's very theme parky, almost.
Definitely.
So here we have a Bell's Dab lizard.
It's pretty cute.
Just a little boy. And I think up next we actually have a little bat cave.
Oh.
Just.
What kind of bats
village,
are they?
Which they are Egyptian fruit bats.
Cool.
So pretty theme appropriate. And also, of course, something that would indeed live in a village like this. So pretty cool. I'm not sure what that viewing area was. You couldn't see anything. But yeah, here we have a little darkened area. We got these torches.
This is very themed.
Yeah. And yeah, it's really dark, of course, because bats, but you can kind of see some movement in there.
Yeah, it's cool.
You can see them fly around.
Interestingly,
also,
I see a lot of fruit bat exhibits in the U.S., but they're usually like not like open topped, but they have like sunlight because like they're often diurnal. But I guess not in here.
Interesting. So you can actually hear some music playing there as well. There's more of that theming. And here we have some smaller animals, which I really like. I will actually get to an area later where it's just kind of like a reptile house in the middle of the zoo. And I kind of wish they did more of this, because this is something I really enjoy. Like, you've got the bigger habitats, but just in the mix of it are these smaller, like, mice and lizards. And
It's always a really fun way to increase your species list, is to just cram a bunch of small habitats in between the bigger ones.
Yeah, but I also think it gives those animals more of a chance to shine when you just stuff them all into one reptile area. So yeah, here we have a little thing about dung beetles, about how they reproduce. So we saw like a camel poops, the dung beetle picks it up, he's rolling it around, and now he's laying his eggs. Or she, I guess, is laying her eggs in the dung, and then a new beetle is born, and that's the circle of life.
I didn't realize like that's like why they roll dung around, but it makes a lot of sense in retrospect.
A very big thing for such a thing, but I like it. I'm a big sucker for interactive education. Here we have another view into the Hamadryas, which have a huge space when you put it all together like this.
Because they usually like operate in pretty like enormous like troops, so it's good that they have the space to like increase their numbers. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, we'll see it a little bit later. There'll be a sign about it. But do you know the connection of? Oh, here's the sign. Do you know the connection of Hamadryas baboons in Egypt?
I know they like the ancient Egyptians like interacted with them, but not like thoroughly.
Yeah, apparently they connected their big red buttocks to the red moon or something. I just realized that I forgot what the actual story is. But you'll actually see Egyptians depict certain things with like red circles, and they actually derive that from the asses of the baboons.
Interesting. Yeah, that seems like something that would influence the culture of a primitive human.
A big red butt.
Yeah.
So here's another bit of fun interactive education. There's like some questions underneath, and then you open this gate and it gives you the answer. Yeah. So it flies and it gives milk. That's about.
I remember Eben did something very similar in Tarmashadi. I need to get it in my zoo somehow because it's a really cool like interpretive display sort of type.
Mm-hmm. So there we can see the sheep in the back. So these habitats are actually connected. They can kind of go wherever they want. So they've got a pretty big space as well. And you can see just so much like themed architecture and stuff.
Yeah, it's super cool.
What else is there to say about it?
Yeah, you would see something like this in Animal Kingdom, Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, that's definitely something I probably want to visit at some point.
Yeah, me too.
Even if I have to go to Florida.
Yeah, Jesus.
I actually know someone from Florida, so it might not even be.
I'm only one state over, but... Ooh, I see.
So here we have the Indian crested porcupine.
Cool.
And you can see behind there's another viewing area.
There's a lot of like cross viewing where like from one point in the exhibit you can see like other people. Yeah, I feel like that's something that's like disencouraged by a lot of people. Yeah, but I was gonna say like that's usually frowned upon, but it doesn't really bother me, to be honest. I think it's the setting of list cities and stuff like that. Because you could see with the elephant habitat that he definitely did avoid that. With all the turns and stuff like that. Yeah, like, there's a lot of viewing areas, but I think there's very little cross viewing there. For sure. This thing didn't fold very well. But it's fun. A little book about rats in Egyptian culture. There's also a little file, which it says like that a rat's tail has the same texture as that, and this is probably the best rat habitat I've ever seen. They just have a little room. For sure. They have a little penthouse. Love it. And now we're getting to the lion area. Very cool. There's this whole ruined thing. So the lion area is just kind of gladiator themed. So there's a lot of education about how gladiators would be put up against lions in like amphitheaters and stuff like that. Yeah. Here we have the indoor area for them. But they were certainly not inside because it was feeding time. So we're actually gonna have a little look at the lions getting some exercise. But yeah, this area also has a lot of that reverse landscape immersion with. Let's see if we can swoop by these people here. Excuse us. You can see there's like a path the habitat over there, which is a continuation of the path of the viewing area. So again, just pulling that together. Yeah. Really cool. You see that lioness like way up in the tree there. Yeah, you don't see that very often. No, but that's a good way to get your animals like enriched and like well exercised. Some exercise. It's actually fun because you can see them take turns trying to get it. But I think these were juveniles as well. So maybe that's why they're a little bit more agile and... Yeah, I could tell. Energetic. But yeah. He's going at it. Almost. You can see them slowly lose grip. Like, that was definitely an oh shit moment.
Yeah, now it's she's like, oh, I'm done. It's your turn.
You're up. Ball's in
You're
your
up.
court.
Literally, because there's actually a ball in there.
Mm.
Spoiler. Oh god, I'm so bad at keeping secrets. I'm ruining all the surprises.
I can see it now, though. You were almost on time.
But yeah, something really nice about this habitat, which we'll see in a bit, is something that is being done a few times in the zoo, and I think would be so cool to see done more often. We're gonna go through like an underground tunnel that will have us pop up in the middle of the habitat, basically.
Ooh.
So they've got their ball, they're just gonna enjoy that, and we're gonna go back down. Oh wait, first, over here, this is like straight from the book. Just the habitat
stairs,
immersion
that
through
is
the
so cool.
stairs. Yeah.
I love that.
Like, the zoos, like, you can, the book really is like, you can do so much with this technique to create just really interesting and, like, to really catch your guests off guard with those unique kind of viewing points. But yeah, over here we can
Using
see
that more often in my work.
So yeah, over here we can see a timeline, which that's something you don't often see in zoos. I really love this history kind of thing.
It's really unique bit of education.
Yeah, because that's like I'm doing a project on zoo education now for my graduation, and it's hard to come up with topics. Like, I got like 5 or 6 interesting topics now. 3 of which are just, this is a cool fact about this animal. Like, I feel like every story has been told, and it's really hard to find like something unique, and then to tell it in a unique way as well.
Yeah, for sure. This sort of reminds me, at the San Diego Zoo, you might know this already, they have an area called Elephant Odyssey. Have you heard of it? It's really unique and sort of similar to this in that it's like a sort of historical theme, but they do it like prehistoric, so like all of the animals are sort of modern representatives of like extinct species that were found in California.
So the elephants,
so
like
they have
a mastodon, or
yeah, exactly. They have like elephants, and like they have lions and jaguars for like saber-toothed cats, and then they have like camels and horses, and like if you didn't like know the context, it would all feel very random. But like they, in like the interpretive displays, they like make sure you know like this is like why everything is together. It's really cool.
That is really cool. Yeah. So here we are in the bubble, I guess you could almost say. And I love the windows connected by the tree trunks to make it kind of look like you're actually in the habitat, like you're just standing between some trees. Like if you imagine the glass not being there, it's
for sure.
And we can hear a trumpet.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
That is for the climb it all thing. There's a really big slide, and that trumpet is basically announcing like, oh, gladiators assemble and go fight the lions or something.
That is like next level immersion.
It's crazy. But yeah, down there in that kind of dungeon is where the slide would end up.
Cool.
So yeah, we have big old Mr. Mill and his wife, I assume. I just love how big cats can be cats.
Yeah.
It's great. So yeah, that is the lion area.
So cool. Another area this reminds me a lot of is the lion exhibit at London Zoo, which is actually a rare instance of Indian lions in captivity, and their like whole area is themed to like an Indian village, and they have like langurs and porcupines, I think.
Oh, really? So like Indian lions, is that different than Asiatic lions?
Oh yeah, it's Asiatic lions. I
Okay.
forgot like the actual name, but yeah, those are the same ones.
Cool. So here's another view into the lions. So over there you can kind of see the castle tower that you would climb for the
That's
for the
dope.
slide. And this is just another kind of open area. There would normally be bald ibis here, but they were indoors because it was too cold. Apparently, bit of a bummer. I like ibises.
Me too, especially these guys. They're pretty unique among ibises.
Oh, we'll see them in a future episode. Don't worry.
Nice.
I've gotten to see them by now. But yeah, there is a couple of like shortcut areas, like those doors. I think would normally be a shortcut, but I think they were still kind of maybe getting rid of some of the COVID routes. There was also still some signage up that doesn't really apply. But over here, we're entering the palace of King Darius. So this is for tigers. So of course, in history, kings would be gifted tigers and kind of collect them to show how mighty and powerful they are. That's what these signs are telling you about.
I think I saw somebody on Bronation recreate this.
Oh, that might be. So,
or at least they used the same name.
It was really busy, and I'm kind of awkward with filming stuff sometimes, so I didn't film it very well. But the habitat immersion here is given through those pillars, which continue outside of the glass viewing area you can see over here.
It's very cool. Interesting, interesting top too, the mesh.
Yeah, I guess they just didn't have the space for proper moats and stuff like that. Or didn't want to make it too tall, I don't know. But
yeah, that's cool though.
Here we can see beautiful tiger boy. There's also a throne, but there were constantly children sitting on it, so I try not to record kids.
Damn kids enjoying the zoo.
Well, I mean, I just try to record them for their own protection.
Yeah.
Don't want to get yelled at by parents either.
You got a griffin vulture, I think.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, here you can see this view. Once again, the cross view with a path. But now also the added pillars.
I didn't even notice the glass there. That's how good it is.
Yeah, you kind of just it really immerses you. So even if the glass is a little dirty or whatever, it's just you're trained to kind of look past that.
Exactly.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is that those signs could do with a little bit better feed.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the little plaque outside of it could have been more.
But yeah, even on the outside here, we have the pillars and stuff continuing. It's just so neat. I really like it. You can really tell my enthusiasm waning as we get further and further into these videos.
We're pressing on.
We're pressing on.
We have the dinosaurs to look forward to.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when I can really start blabbering.
Oh, I hope I don't go through them too fast. Oh, yeah, here we have another peek into the griffin vultures.
Very cool.
And
a really big exhibit.
Is a shortcut, which I ended up not taking because you're trying to see everything. But yeah, over here you can kind of see the other side of the door, of this door, in fact. Which I guess, no, I guess it would keep that closed. It's just for service. If they need to go through, they can open it up. So yeah, here we have a Bactrian camel.
Very cool.
Also kind of in a market village type style. I love them well.
And I really love the amount of wear and tear they were able to capture on all of these buildings. I don't know exactly when this was built, but they've really gotten an aged look down.
Yeah, it's probably intentional.
yeah, definitely.
At least its aging is only going to help it. So that's always a good feature of these kind of buildings. But yeah, over here we got another little crocodilian area. Over here we got the African dwarf crocodile. But even in here, there's a little view into the Bactrian camels.
Very cool.
Just a little dirty window. But yeah. There are a bunch of fish in here as well, which is kind of nice. But you've got this big glass viewing area with some underwater view and stuff as well.
Now, dwarf crocodiles are an interesting choice because they're found in like West Africa and like the rainforest, so I don't think any of these civilizations would have really interacted with them in any meaningful detail, but
yeah,
it's a really cool little exhibit regardless.
Yeah, I guess sometimes you just take what you can get.
Yeah, they were probably gunning for Nile crocodiles, but
yeah, or maybe they want to give the idea of Nile crocodiles but didn't have the space for it. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, over here is another kind of sad part. There's a huge aviary called Beak Kingdom, or Snavelrijk. But yeah, not COVID, the other thing, bird flu. So
bird COVID.
Walk through bird COVID, pretty much. I mean, this year, I think I mentioned it in a video, I don't remember which, but this year, like, the bird flu has been gone to like some extreme, like more birds have died than all previous bird flu combined, basically.
Wow.
So, and it's lasted so much longer as well. Like, it's been half a year at this point, I think.
Jesus.
So yeah. Luckily, there is a separate viewing area into the aviary, so we can at least appreciate some of these Dalmatian pelicans, hammerkops, kettle egrets. Those are some of the ones I spotted. I'm not sure what else is in there. But yeah. Here's another pretty neat little area. There's actually a riverboat ride. Which is like €5, I think. But it was closed. Actually, I feel like I would have actually paid for this one, because it does seem really, really cool. But yeah. Here we have a little backstage view of the ring-tailed lemur, as well as the gold-bellied capuchin, which we'll see in a bit.
They don't live together, do they?
No. They're separate.
Okay. Alright, that would have been weird.
That would have been weird, yeah. No, they've got a separate little habitat.
But you can kind of see them, like, together. Like, they're like the mesh.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, this is the Capuchin Island. And over here we can see the riverboats ready to leave. They are pedal boats, so you have to pedal yourself.
Oh, I'm surprised they trust the people with that. Like, you just go right up to the Monkey Island and...
I'm guessing there's probably something preventing you from doing that, but I wouldn't know what. But yeah, here you kind of cross a bridge over them. And I'm kind of sad to say that I missed a little area here, because over there you can see another bridge, which is bringing you to the walkthrough area of the lemur habitat. But I didn't notice until we were leaving the zoo, basically, that was still a thing that we missed. So, bit of a bummer. But over here you can see kind of what I find interesting here. Actually, we zoom in on it, is these netting tunnels that the capuchins use. And they actually...
And that just goes into their holding.
It goes into their holding, but what I like about it is you can see these kind of pillars, which are hollow on the inside. That's how so cool. They make sure that they can't like climb onto the nets and stuff. So they got like a little
never seen that before. That is so cool. It's super unique.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting way to get them across.
Definitely.
Something I kind of want to try to recreate in Plant Zoo, but I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah, there's like the second I saw that, I was like, how can I make that?
Yeah, over here we've got some a stork habitat, and very fitting, there's a wall of pacifiers.
Yeah, I was like, what are those? I'm surprised like that's not like a safety hazard for the birds.
That is actually a good question. I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, I mean, the idea behind it is nice. I think they're donated as well. Like, if you don't need your pacifier anymore, you can hang it up there.
I see.
Because, yeah, of course, the storks need the pacifiers to give to the children that they deliver.
Yeah, obviously. That's what happens. That's where I came from, at least.
Yeah. I mean, I remember... It's how I got my fear of heights. I was almost dropped. But yeah, over here we can kind of see the second type of fencing, which is all these kind of sticks and branches, kind of stacked on top of each other. And we've got a bunch of rabbit holes, which are some pretty unique viewing areas into the grey wolf habitat.
Oh.
Or, I don't know if it's a grey wolf or just any non-specific wolf, but it takes a while to find them. I'll say that much in advance. But I love all these little...
Yeah, these are very cool. More great, like, eye-level viewing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just creates such unique experiences with the animals and such a different perspective onto them.
For sure.
Although, you know, for some adults, you do kind of have to crawl down into these holes, which is, isn't perfect. Yeah. But you still have the other viewing areas for them. So, yeah, over there you can see the sign, wolf. What wolf? I want to know. But yeah. Just a nice little foresty area for them as well.
Very nice.
And over here, let's see, I should zoom in on it any moment. Yeah, there we can see the little hole we were in earlier. So the wolves can actually be on top of you, which would be very cruel, because you'd just be looking out there like, where are they? Yeah, look at how overgrown this fence is as well. All the ivy.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, over here, there is another underground area.
Continues.
Where we have more views into the wolves. But there's also another animal. Oh, this is kind of interesting. There's like a little bit of stuff in between the window for the habitat and the window.
I thought that was like a little terrarium for a second. But
yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything in there. All I saw was a bunch of like bark, but there might be.
I'm not sure how they would get the animals like in and out.
That is a good question. Yeah. So over there we saw a look into another habitat, and the people I was with actually saw the animal in here, but I didn't. I just saw darkness. But there's actually a badger in there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, here we have more of those peaks. It's just all over the place. But finally, I think we go through here and we finally get to see the wolves. And this was like the smallest of the tunnels. Like I actually had to go almost down on my knees to go through there. But I think, yeah, there they are. Finally, we can see some wolves doing absolutely nothing.
And yeah, those look like gray wolves to me.
Yeah. So yeah,
I'm not sure like what like specific subspecies they could be. They could be European, but I'm not sure.
So there was a different little habitat in there for, I think, an endangered a garden dormouse, by the looks of it.
Oh, interesting.
Which they were actually like promoting some kind of charity thing. I hate when people block the road with their buggies. I hate the buggy brigade. But yeah, they were doing some kind of charity thing to help that species. So, yeah. Here is the badger habitat. So that's that. And here's a little, what do you call it? Tadpole?
A tide pool?
Tide pool. Tide pool?
I'm not sure that's what this is.
No.
It's clearly fresh water, but
yeah, it's a splash pad. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
You can like take off your shoes and
yeah.
go. But yeah, here we are.
I was gonna say I see some of my favorite animals.
Yeah. So it's dino time.
The video has begun, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not sure if that was a Triceratops we just saw.
That was a Triceratops.
Okay, I couldn't see the sign. But yeah, over here we got, of course, yours truly.
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, I'm definitely going a bit fast. I'm sorry.
And that is a Styracosaurus.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So far, it doesn't matter that I didn't read all the signs.
Yeah, that's what you got me for. But yeah, that was a relative of the Triceratops, but as you could see, sort of more horns on the frill portion of it.
So yeah, we're taking a little break to see a living dinosaur, as the signs say. So if here we just take a little bit of a backstage peek.
I hope it's an actual living dinosaur and not a reptile of some sort.
Oh god.
We'll find out. I'll be the judge of this.
I think you might be disappointed, I'm not sure.
Oh no, I see a pool. Yeah, no, that is that is, I'm afraid, not a living dinosaur. Sort of close. Turtles, crocodiles, and dinosaurs form a group called Archelosauria, but there is a living dinosaur.
Oh yay!
Yeah, so we got one. Obviously not the star of the show, but yeah, birds are the last surviving group of dinosaurs, just because they were small enough to weather out the asteroid. So.
Sick. So yeah, that was a pheasant pigeon, for those wondering.
Cool.
And we have the Algebra giant tortoise.
Very cool.
And here again, a little peek. Look at that big boy. I think this might have been... I mean, to be honest, actually the birds did kind of steal the show for me. I love their colors.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah, look at them go. Very effective way of eating.
Yes.
That's how I eat my popcorn, to be honest.
Just like piece by piece.
Yeah, I do like the lushness of this place.
And similar to the elephant building, sort of similar architecture.
Exactly.
It's very
so
cool.
Over here is something for the birds. Maybe a different bird than the pheasant pigeon, I'm not sure. But yeah. Take your backstage pics.
Yeah, it is really cool how they have like the whole backstage out like that.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't know why Planet Zoo thought it was a good game mechanic to make that.
I know, it really doesn't like bother people in real life.
Yeah. Maybe a little depending on where, but in general it's just interesting. I feel a way better mechanic would have been to make the staff get more stressed out from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we leave the place. I think there was actually a sign. You might actually see it here. Yeah, it's like this place were donated. The turtles were donated by people for the 50th anniversary of the zoo.
Cool.
There's a little plaque there. So yeah, back to the dinosaurs. So what is pretty cool and kind of tacky maybe is that all the education signs for the dinosaurs are put on these big bones.
Yeah, on these like nondescript giant bones.
So turtles lived together with dinosaurs. That's what the sign said.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're not living dinosaurs. They lived together with them.
And then I think these are meant to be Leptoceratops, and that's a Protoceratops on the right.
Okay. Yeah, these... So I thought it'd be good enough for me to kind of walk by those signs and I would be able to read them while editing. I couldn't. So for some of these, I have no idea what they are.
Alright, that is a Centrosaurus, also related to Triceratops.
Cool. Yeah, there was a little sign about the ceratopses.
Cool.
Kind of talking about them. The last we see of that, it was the final backstage peek. And now we get to...
what appears to be a Carethosaurus.
Yeah, you can read it.
Sign beat me to it, but it's pretty iconic with the sort of Corinthian helmet on its head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, couldn't read that one.
That's a Maiasaura.
Yep.
one of the few dinosaurs that was found to like show like nesting behavior. So like we weren't too sure about that like before this was discovered, but it confirmed that dinosaurs actually looked after their babies.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And then this is some Ornithomimosaur, could be Struthiomimus or Ornithomimus. They all look pretty similar, but that was one of the few sort of outdated models because those dinosaurs would have had feathers. Speaking of which, I'm seeing a couple that do.
Troodons.
Oh yeah, Troodon.
Yeah, definitely going a bit fast. What's fun about the Ornithomimus, that sign did say that.
Okay.
That one actually used to move. I found old footage of it moving. And that footage was from years ago, so yeah, definitely an outdated thing probably.
Yeah, but for the most part, like the sort of scientific accuracy of these is more or less solid. They're really nothing special. They sort of have like really like big scales on their bodies, which is pretty common of dinosaur sculptures just because they want to show off the texture, but for the most part their scales would have been sort of too small to see unless you were super up close, so their skin would have just looked pretty smooth from most big angles. But yeah, it looks like we're running into an iguanodon here, or maybe a Tenotosaurus based on the Deinonychus that are attacking it, which is a pretty common sight in paleo art. But yeah, Deinonychus is another one that would have had feathers in life.
I'm pretty sure the sign says Velociraptor.
Oh, Velociraptor, alright. Those were not convincing Velociraptor then, because Velociraptor was both really small and had a much more narrow snout than that, so I imagine they looked at Deinonychus for that model.
So here's a little sign about the colors of dinosaurs being unknown, of course, because that doesn't get fossilized.
Yeah.
Are there any, like, solid theories on some colorization?
So, we actually do have a couple fossils that are, like, really well preserved to the point that we can sort of view their basic color under a microscope. So we have a lot of dinosaurs that would have just been, like, brown or black in real life. But we also know that they wouldn't have been able to express colors like purple or, like, red, just because those are pigments that they wouldn't have been able to obtain just because there weren't any flowers back then, and that's where a lot of animals get their bright colors today. So we sort of have like a set of guidelines in terms of like pigments that dinosaurs would have been capable of expressing. And then another rule of thumb is that sort of the bigger dinosaurs were, the less colorful they would have been, just because it takes a lot of energy to produce bright colors.
Right.
So something like this that we're looking at right now would have been reasonable, just sort of earth tones with sort of minimal patterning. But yeah.
I am a Stegosaurus.
I am a Stegosaurus. That one needs no introduction.
Yeah. So I love how we say that one and we skipped over like the Pachycephalosaurus and Albertosaurus.
Very nice Kentrosaurus, actually.
Yeah. So we saw earlier, we saw like a big rope hanging from some trees, and that rope was there to signify how big some of the dinosaurs were. I can't remember which it was measuring. But yeah. So here we have a Brachiosaurus.
Yeah, most likely. It's very one of the more iconic sauropods. People often confuse Brachiosaurus with Brontosaurus, but Brontosaurus actually would have been sort of more horizontal instead of vertical, like in terms of the neck inclination. What
is nice about the Brachiosaurus thing is there is actually a sign that says like, this is a small one.
Yeah, they would have gotten pretty enormous. And I think that is a Scutellosaurus coming up. Or no, a Skeletosaurus, because I get those confused a lot.
Yeah, no, you are correct. So, cool. So yeah, I mentioned earlier, like, if you look at how many plants there are around here, imagine how lush and awesome this place
definitely.
In the summer.
And I think that was an Allosaurus, and then these are Diplodocus, which is similar to the Brontosaurus in terms of like the neck posture. And then that's a rather scary looking Europasaurus. Europasaurus is cool. That's a relative of Brachiosaurus. You can tell by the neck and like the shape of the head, but because Europasaurus lived on islands, it was a lot smaller than its relatives, which is the condition you can see in a lot of wildlife today. And I think that's a Ceratosaurus, judging by the 3 horns.
Yep.
Very cool. Although, something worth noting is that we've come to the conclusion that almost all dinosaurs would have had lips covering their teeth, so when their mouths were closed, you wouldn't have been able to see them. That's been a source of a lot of controversy. But
I remember when I saw that debate on Twitter, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense," and just brushed it off. And then I saw people having fights over it.
Oh yeah, it gets so heated, just stuff like that. But yeah, we've more or less come to the conclusion, save for a few fringe weirdos that nobody likes.
So over here we have the Pteroflight, which is a zip line.
Yeah, I thought I saw a big pterosaur over there.
Yeah. So there's a pterosaur zip line. It's pretty cool. Oh yeah, I should probably mention. Apparently, we found out when we finished walking through this area that we were going backwards. So we're going back in time instead of forward in time.
Yeah, because I'm now seeing Triassic dinosaurs. There's a Coelophysis, a Plateosaurus.
Yeah, here's a Triassic introduction.
But there is a T-Rex at the end, so
yeah, probably it's like the photo op spot.
Yeah, not completely out of order.
This is kind of the start area where there's just a bunch of like things. We saw one of these earlier. It's like a thing you spin and look through to see.
Yeah, a little animated. That's cool.
It doesn't work very well to record. This is also really cool. We've got a little paleontology tent.
Oh, it's like a little dig site.
Little dig site. I'm gonna take a quick peek inside, but I don't want to stay because children.
Yeah.
We can see a little Stegosaurus.
Cool. You see in like a lot of media, like in these like fake dig sites where the skeleton is just like completely like articulated and together. That is very lucky. Most of the time, it's just fragments that
all over
are
the place.
they're strewn about that you have to spend years piecing together. Yeah, exactly.
So there's a couple of spots here where there's a sign, but there was no dinosaur. I'm guessing they actually do a pretty good job at keeping things like renovated.
And that is a Dimetrodon, which is not a dinosaur. Oh, a Dilophosaurus. Never mind. But same family, judging by the sail on its back, which were not dinosaurs at all, actually. They were much more closely related to mammals. Like, not even reptiles, just like sort of like almost mammals.
So, would they have had skills then? Or is that just something we assumed
they did have scales. Fur hadn't really evolved yet. That wasn't quite a thing, but yeah. And some weird crocodile. I guess we're not really in the dinosaur area anymore.
Yeah, well, it's more of a playground element than an accurate dinosaur. So this is what would be the entrance.
I see.
We can hear some roars and stuff. It definitely would have been more fun to start here, I'll be honest.
Yeah, this is really neat though. It's like I told you on Discord when you first sent me that like cinematic, like these are not bad by any means. Like I've seen like there's a lot of sort of like dinosaur trail areas in US zoos that are often temporary and as a result like much lower quality. So this is a breath of fresh air to be sure.
One of my local zoos is actually having a temporary dinosaur event soon.
Oh boy.
And I'm definitely gonna go, and if I get that footage, I'll definitely invite you again.
For sure. Yeah, you won't like.
I'll take a bit more time on them because we've already visited the zoo. It's Dierenpark, so I can really just focus on the dinosaurs.
Cool.
So yeah, over here we have kind of the big savanna habitat. We can see a pretty interesting fencing all around with this wooden mesh.
I see some guinea fowl.
Some guinea fowl, which is being left behind probably for the bird flu once again.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we have East African oryx, impala, Giraffe zebra, and I'm guessing reticulated giraffe. I'm not sure. The sign didn't say. Yeah. And over here we're actually going down a little bit, which creates this really nice wall over here.
I notice a lot of giraffes in zoos are just labeled like giraffe, not like the subspecies, because they're actually like hybrids between different ones.
Yeah. Yeah, over here I figured that's what it might have been, but also all the signs are just kind of the main animal,
Yeah,
so
a little
it's very
generic. So
possible. Because most
see a
statues
sloth.
actually, yeah, that's a fake one.
yeah, I figured.
But we are entering the night.
Oh boy.
Right as we pass this yellow mongoose habitat.
Oh cool.
There we can see one.
Hey buddy.
They're really cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel like a lot of Dutch who do specify, like the Beekse Berg has Nubian giraffe. I think Blijdorp has reticulated. But even then, I wonder how much that is true. Because at Beekse Berg, some of them look pretty reticulated to me. But yeah, so here we are entering the night. This was the first time I've ever entered like a proper night house. So
very cool. I did see like that little mural had some of the animals in there, some of which I like very much, so I'm excited to check that out.
Yeah, I wonder, I think some of the murals are a little dated. I think the one that was like near the floor was pretty outdated. This, I actually read up a little bit about this building because I was interested in it. Because, you know, night houses aren't that common here.
In like Europe or just in general?
I think in Europe, I don't see them that often.
Yeah,
especially in the Netherlands.
We don't have very many in the US either. We have Kingdoms of the Night, which is in Omaha Zoo, but yeah, other than like a couple others, which I can't remember, they aren't like super common like a reptile house would be.
Yeah, we just saw a little view into the giraffe stall, by the way. Don't know why that's here, but it's pretty cool. And yeah, so this building used to have like it's 3 rooms, and it used to have like every room be a certain region. So like an Africa and something.
Titicaca frog.
Titicaca frog, yeah. Look at him go.
I love those guys. They're so wrinkly.
But yeah, it used to be like 3 separate regions, but nowadays it's a little bit more generalized. Like there's 2 of the rooms have sloths in them.
Gotcha.
But they do breed the sloths, which is actually really cool. Like they're a successful breeding pair, which is always nice.
And then I hope this isn't a spoiler, but do they still have the Duraculi?
The Tiracuti?
The night monkey.
I don't think so.
Oh man, yeah, because that was on the mural, so.
But yeah, so I upped the brightness and contrast as much as I could.
Oh yeah.
But
the lighting in here is really cool. I like the blue and green.
Yeah. So over here we can see a sloth, and it's actually kind of moving, so that's special.
And also like really close up.
Yeah, I mean they're just free roaming and they're out and about. They sometimes might be right overhead. There's branches and stuff just right over the visitor path. It's really cool. I really like this area a lot. And
seeing this, I imagine it's a pretty common like issue in the game, but among people. But seeing this makes me wish like we could just have like really dark interiors that we could really play around with in the lighting without having to go turn on night.
You either turn on night or you have to have like a really thick layer of terrain between you. That works as well, but it's not practical. But yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer for like inspiration. Like you can't see a lot. It's very dark.
Yeah,
can't really make out the leaders. In the back there, it's like you can barely see it, but we can actually see the brush-tailed baton.
Oh, cool.
I'm not sure. Woily is another word for it.
Oh yeah. I've heard that before.
But yeah, it's like you can barely see anything. Like, I tried to look around the room, but like you can only kind of see the things that have lights on. There's actually an education sign a bit later on. Yeah, here it is. Like, I can't even read the sign.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I just gave up. But yeah, in here we have a little cockroach habitat, Madagascar cockroach.
Very cool.
Very neat. I think cockroaches are pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think I'm a minority in that.
They get a lot of hate. I think people are just we're lucky we don't have them this big.
And I think we're going through the next room right about now.
It's just like a dark blur.
Yeah, you can see something kind of jumping about.
Yeah, I see something moving.
I don't know what it is though, because I don't have the education sign for it.
Let's just call it a little guy.
Yeah, I think there was like a sort of bush baby around here as well. But I'm not sure.
Maybe that was it.
Yeah. No, that thing we saw jumping around is definitely smaller than the bush baby.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, in the free roaming area of this place, by the way, because on there's like on the left side of the path you have this red glowing evil exhibit with the jumpy thing, and on the right of the path is actually kind of an open space which should have a goodie in it.
Cool.
But I couldn't spot one because it was very crowded and busy here, so I assume all the goodie would be far removed from the path.
Mm-hmm.
But they could just walk onto it, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, here there is something kind of hanging from something you can kind of see, which I think might be the bush baby, but yeah, it's way too dark. I can recommend going here yourself, because with your own eyes you can actually see something.
Yeah.
But camera not made for this. So yeah, here we go through to I think the final room. Then we have a sloth hanging from the ceiling, kind of right above the path. Which
It's
is
like
really
right
cool.
against the light.
And here's just a picture I took with my phone, because my phone actually has a night mode, which allows you to take a decent photo. So yeah,
Cool.
here was a sloth that was like right next to the path as well, which was really cool. So yeah, here we go, outside. That is
it's so bright.
the end of the night house. And
Very
we
cool.
are greeted by a Chilean flamingo habitat, which are also just like the
Caged away.
Yeah, can't have those.
Bird
Bummer.
COVID.
So yeah, I do like the night house a lot, and we'll actually be back because on top of the night house we can actually see another thing, which we'll check out in a sec. But yeah, from here we can also still see the dinosaur area. And earlier you said you thought the elephant habitat was a rhino habitat. Well, over here, after we pass this pretty cool kind of like
Yeah, that's a
wire
good
art,
sculpture.
we got the actual rhino habitat. We got Indian rhino, and we can see over here the track of the bear bender.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I feel like you can see like 3 species from it, from what I've seen. I'll have to maybe do some more research on it, but I think it's
Also,
like
those rhinos are posed like so like gloriously in the light.
Yeah.
They look like statues almost.
So yeah, there's a little dock over there, but yeah, they've got a big pond, and just like the elephant habitat, this habitat has like a lot of like curves and kind of it zigzags around. And it's really interesting.
It's really exploratory.
Yeah. But yeah, that train, like I think it goes past a rhino. It goes past I think 1 or 2 more animals we'll see. And other than that, yeah, I feel like it just crosses the visitor path like 3 times, which makes it such a nuisance.
Yeah.
Like, I'm guessing they just don't want to get rid of it for nostalgia's sake, but man.
A lot of zoos, at least here in the US, will also sort of like hesitate to remove like trams and trains and stuff just because there's some guests for like with mobility issues, like that's the best way to see the zoo.
Yeah. I know we just saw Eisen Zoo, which you know, ice and stuff, ice cream and stuff. The same pun repeated again.
God damn it.
And also on the right here, we're gonna see another beautiful smoking area. With with a fire extinguisher, of course.
It's the majesty.
But yeah, I totally get that. I think Beekse Bergen has something a little similar. And they're actually doing a pilot right now. I don't know if I can talk about that. But the coming like high season, they're not driving any buses. Because the car safari is too clogged up.
Yeah.
And it's a real struggle because the unique selling point of the zoo is the car safari, but the car safari is causing so many issues that I feel like they want to get rid of it, but they can't because it's you know, it's one of the main reasons people come to the zoo.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we have the giraffe, which were kind of out of sight earlier.
And then is that big netted structure in the back the same aviary we
Yeah,
saw
exactly.
before? Okay, all right.
And we can kind of see over there we see the bridge crossing to the lemurs, and the paddle boats actually go past the giraffes over here as well.
Oh, cool.
So that's really cool. And we can see the impala. Love impala. But yeah, we've got this big elevated view of the giraffe here. So you can really get kind of up close and personal with them. And then down there is the night house.
Oh, cool.
Here we have this lake which was frozen over, surprisingly, even though it was like a sunny day.
Yeah.
I guess the sun just didn't reach this lake.
And from here, like that shot of the night house, it reminds me a lot of the Merit in
it looks like a boat, right?
The same like sort of material with the weathered metal, and just the fact that it was like up against the lake like that, it just like reminded me of it.
Yeah. So over here we have the 100,000 animal house. So this is what I mentioned earlier, where here you do kind of just have all the terrariums thrown together into one big room. So I like it still, but I do really like how if you spread them out a bit, they kind of get more of a chance to shine almost. Because now you just go from terrarium to terrarium and like, oh yeah, that's a lizard.
Yeah.
That's a lizard. So earlier we saw the green tree skink, the Solomon Island skink. And here we have the leafcutter ant. And this is actually really, really cool. So
I was gonna say, like, do they have a tube?
Yep, they have a tube, all right. they have a tube.
That is quite a tube. Wow.
They have quite a tube.
Oh wow, it keeps going.
It keeps going.
I'm sorry for underestimating the tube.
How dare you underestimate my tube?
That is so thorough.
Yeah, we'll be following that tube around. So here we have a little view into. I'm not sure which animal that was for. A little peek into a backstage. And here's something cool. We got the education sign like inside the exhibit. Through the glass. So here we have the chukwala.
We just say chukwala, and that's a collared lizard, actually. That's a chukwala.
Yeah, that's a collared lizard.
That's
Desert iguana. Yeah, I didn't know which one of the ones it was. That's kind of the problem with these signs as well.
Yeah, they're pretty vague.
I'm like, okay, this lizard, it kind of looks like the desert iguana, but it also kind of looks like the collared lizard, and I'm not sure. Yeah. Here we have the wandering violin mantis.
Ooh, never heard of that.
This is a pretty interesting name. I think they're the stuff of nightmares, if you ask me.
They look like the heptapods from Arrival.
Yeah. So here we have the tube. Still
the
going.
Tube.
And we have a San Francisco garter snake.
Ooh, interesting.
Which is really cute.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, like, my previous video was on Olimeulen, which is more of a dedicated reptile house with a bunch of mammals as well.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, like, they had a lot more kind of variety in their exhibits. Here it's a lot more, like, they're all kind of a similar style in a way.
Just a bunch of terrariums. Not bad by any means, but...
No, certainly not. Yeah, that's a boa constrictor, by the way. You might recognize it pattern.
Yeah.
And turn around. So here's the Chinese crocodile lizard. It was a no-show, but if you want to see it, these are one of my favorite animals. I do highly suggest looking at the Olimeulen video that went up last week. Because they are very cool.
For sure. I've seen pictures, but...
And yeah, here's a little... just everything. We've got a centipede. No, a millipede. No, a centipede. Didn't see the centipede, but we do have the sun beetle and the African giant snail.
Pretty cool.
No, wait, it was a millipede. Fuck. I'm mixing them up so bad. But yeah, I mean, they didn't even show up anyway, so...
It's nice to see the giant snail not in a 4x4 meter giant box.
God, don't get me started. I really hope that one day something, but this guy was pretty hidden. We got a little gecko.
Oh, I love geckos.
Stranding's day gecko.
Cool.
Really neat. But yeah, you kind of just go thing to thing. Oh yeah, of course, stick insects. Always great. I love seeing the bramble. I think I mentioned this in the Olimeulen video as well. But I used to keep stick insects. They escaped a lot. But we would just go out into the woods to get some bramble.
Get more.
Yeah, just get to get some bramble. They don't live in the wild here, but
I see.
they loved eating bramble, so we always would get them that. And there we go. We got a low-banded iguana, or the Fiji Iguana is kind of the Dutch name. But yeah, now those stick insects basically they would lay a ton of eggs, like they reproduced like crazy, and the juveniles could slip through our mesh. So they would escape as a juvenile, and then a couple days later there would be just a full-grown adult sitting on your ceiling. And my sisters were afraid of them. And my parents started giving us money if we could catch them. So I was getting rich just catching stick insects in our house. But yeah, here we have the Gila monster hiding in its cave. Yeah. And also the leaf insect.
Ooh.
We're just vibing.
Southeast Asia pack. I think these guys might be different.
Yeah, I think they're different. But yeah, it didn't really specify. Which is a bummer of these signs. I do hope that one day they'll kind of improve that, because like the signs are cute, but it's just there's such a lack of info.
Yeah.
So yeah, here we have the Smith's red knee tarantula. And the Luriston newt.
Cool. Again, another animal that's nice not to see in a giant like terrarium that's fit for like a monitor lizard.
And here we have a little pit stop for the tube.
Oh boy, the tube.
Because it's still going. So this kind of the.
I think if you like calculated like the exact like dimensions of the tube, these guys would probably have more space than a lot of the animals in the zoo.
Might even be, especially relative to body size.
Yeah, exactly. So these guys are going on like adventures.
That's kind of the final stop over there, which like the habitat itself isn't even that impressive. It's just the tube.
The tube.
But yeah, this is kind of the final stop, and I love it when zoos have this. This is this little museum area where they have a bunch of taxidermy of animals that used to live in the zoo.
Oh, that's cool.
And there's even little stories about them when they were still alive.
Neat.
Which is, it's a really cool way to kind of remember those animals. And reuse them for education still.
Yeah. I mean, this gets me, like, I think about this a lot, and you might know the answer, but, like, where do animals, like, in zoos go when they die? Do they just get, like, cremated, or?
I know in the Netherlands that they are all basically sent to a university. And they use them for autopsy, to do research, especially if, like, the cause of death is unknown. They try to figure that out. But yeah, I think it's just used maybe to practice veterinary care on as well.
Okay, that's cool.
And yeah, some of them might get taxidermy, others probably cremated. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I could ask if you want.
That'd be great. Because I really have no idea.
Yeah. Over here, some cool things. It's actually fun because this is one of the topics I'm also covering in my graduation project. But there's like a bunch of like souvenirs that are horrible for animal health. Like you saw like snake oil.
There's like alligator skin.
Here is why plastic is bad. You've got like sea turtles and just gulls filled with plastic.
Yeah.
Here's a little what's going to be a beehive. It's currently empty. Which I don't know how it's gonna work, having the beehive like indoor. But
Yeah.
and here we have some furs, more taxidermy. Over there, it's kind of hidden away, which kind of sucks. But there's like an elephant ear.
Huh.
Is
Interesting.
that an African penguin? Some snake skins, like just all sorts of things. Whatever you can kind of think of is laid out here.
There's the elephant ear.
Yeah.
And
So cool.
You almost never see like taxidermy in zoos because obviously people aren't here to see dead animals, but it's really unique and like well pulled off.
Yeah. No, I love it. Beeksebergen has it as well. They have a very little building for it, and I hope that they expand it at some point.
Yeah.
Because it's super interesting. And what's fun about the area for Beeksebergen as well is that it's inside of the building that's being run by volunteers. So there's always someone there to talk to you about the animals and
Very cool.
teach you something.
All these baby animals in jars.
Yeah, I remember I tweeted this and seen like, this exhibit seems kind of small, I don't know.
I feel like a Zoo Tycoon 2 reference, like, Baby Macaque 1 needs more space. Notification.
I remember there was like a bug in Zoo Tycoon where if you had like an elevated path, for some reason the animals would no longer have collision if you placed them on it.
Huh.
So I would just spam T-Rexes on top of each other. And then when you removed the elevated path, they would sink to the ground and they would just explode.
Yeah, they just like slowly fall.
Yeah,
it's
just
like
like
in Minecraft.
Just like in Minecraft, exactly.
Yeah.
So I made it, and they all immediately rampaged, of course, because of their conditions. So it was just instant havoc. Beautiful. Good memories. But yeah, here we have another view of the giraffe habitat. So we're above the night house now.
Very cool.
Yeah, just a little indoor view. I love it when zoos give you that.
Yeah, the Cincinnati Zoo has something very similar where like you're up on this elevated path and you get like a sort of face-to-face with the giraffes in their indoor holding.
Yeah, super neat. What's also fun is as we turn around here, we'll see like the elevated path we were on. It actually has a path down there as well, and I don't know if that's for visitors or if it's just a staff path, but I thought that was pretty neat. But yeah, here we are back at the other side of that gate from the city of old. So we're actually on the other side of the kind of griffin, vulture, and the tiger habitats now. Cool. So over here was a little view that actually had a queue. But you could just barely see the tiger fruit, so of course there's a queue.
Yeah.
That's kind of the downside of these smaller viewing areas, is that it doesn't fit a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, you can see that again, like this kind of moat going through the habitat into this viewing area. This is interesting. There's a map here of rocks. So these big rocks around the zoo. Or apparently you can adopt a rock.
Interesting.
You can donate to the zoo and adopt a rock, and then your name gets put on that little sign, and you get a rock in the zoo. It's the weirdest thing.
Not an animal, just a rock.
Just a rock.
That's your rock.
You can go to the zoo and take a picture with your rock. I mean, at least you're allowed to touch your rock, because if you adopt an animal, you don't get to...
You don't get to hang out with your animal.
Yeah, here you can see the rhino. So over there is the other viewing area we were at earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So here you can, like... We were talking about it earlier for the elephants as well. Like, here you don't have that cross view that you did earlier. Like, here is really well kind of contained.
So cool.
Oh, here it is. It's the bear bender.
Whoa.
Whoa. All I'm missing is the smoke particle effect from planets.
Truly epic.
But yeah, it's a nuisance.
Damn kids enjoying the zoo.
Yeah, I guess it's fun for kids. That's what's important. So yeah, here's some other views of the tiger. So here you kind of have to go through the mesh.
Yeah.
Which is one of the few places, like, they aren't shy about glass in this place. Because it's, of course, the best.
I noticed a lot of, like, glass paneling where there would usually be mesh.
Which, I mean, it works the best for that thing they're going for with the immersion. But it must be... I mean, it makes sense that a lot of the windows are kind of smudged up, because...
Yeah.
There's a lot of windows to clean.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, here we can actually look into the temple. So, you've got kind of a similar thing with the path going up to that staircase into the temple where we were earlier. Yeah, the habitat is actually, like, pretty big. There's a lot of... Like, it has several sections, kind of. And I think there's only one tiger in there, but I'm not 100% sure.
Is this all 1 yard, or...?
Yeah, because you can see here it crosses...
I see.
You can cross between there. So, I think they can separate it if they have to, but... It was open at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, here another crossing of the train. And it goes through a tunnel. Super exciting.
Oh.
Yeah, that must be scary. And yeah, we have another view of the rhino, which we're just checking because we want to see what it's like. Of course, the rhino are all the way on the other side.
You have a little mud wallow there.
Yeah, I mean, you need those for Indian rhinos.
Oh, I remember your video.
Oh yeah, of course. Everyone on my channel is a rhino expert. So yeah, don't climb the rocks. I wish that would actually be fun if we got some of those small signs in Planet Zoo.
Yeah, we have like the do not feed and do not disturb, but
yeah, just do not climb, do not whatever.
Yeah.
Just in the Planet Zoo language. That'd be really fun.
we would probably the guests would probably have to be able to do that for the devs to consider being worth implementing.
True. But yeah, over here,
I mean,
this is really cool. I'm gonna interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No worries.
There's like, you can see that this is an older building, right? With all the brick and stuff.
Brick. Yeah.
But there has been some renovating, because you can see the same wooden things as the elephant barn has.
This is the rhino holding?
Yeah, this is the rhino holding.
Gosh.
So it's like it's a weird mix of old and new, which I think is really interesting. Yeah, just wanted to mention that. And yeah, from here, there's also a little education thing. So yeah, I do believe that like these sorts of education things were added after like the signs weren't responded to well.
Mm.
Yeah, here on the other side of the building, we've got some penguin. These two were separated from the rest. Not sure why. Maybe breeding reasons, because they are nesting, as you can see.
In a very, very sort of open penguin exhibit. Usually, these sorts of exhibits go very heavy on the rock work, but...
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of rocks, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. What's also fun is every nesting box has a little number on it. So...
That's like a little motel.
Yeah, no, it's a little zoo. It's probably to help the zookeepers.
Yeah.
But it is fun to imagine an African penguin being like, I would like a room number 2, please.
We asked for a view of the pool.
I want to be as far away from that train as possible, please. So yeah, I think, like, the rhino and the penguin is the only habitat I've seen it go past, so I really don't know what thing there is to see from it.
Yeah, and then I take it penguins aren't susceptible to bird flu?
I guess, or it's because they can't fly that they're not
maybe
that cautious. I mean, they don't really have, like, that light feathers. I'm
maybe.
Not sure. I'm not a
they seem
bird flu
fine.
expert.
Yeah.
So here's another view of the penguin, and there's actually a couple of signs about their food. How they're choosing to only give them sustainably catched fish, as to not, contribute to one of the main factors of their
Exactly.
their, like, what's endangering them in the wild is fishing. So it'd be kind of hypocritical to buy.
Yeah,
fish.
apparently African penguins, like, specifically are, like, super threatened. They're only, like, native to, like, a couple beaches in South Africa, and that's it.
Because like, tourism is taking in all of their beaches, fishing is taking away all their food. They've got a lot of issues that they're dealing with, which is kind of sad. But yeah, so this is where we thought that we kind of finished the zoo, but I was like, I didn't see any hyenas. So we're going to check out a couple more things as we make our way to the exit. There's also this habitat. I don't remember what's in here. Yeah, no. I don't. Maybe nothing. We have a Siamang habitat as well.
Oh.
Which, sadly, as we walked up, the Siamang just popped inside.
Oh, so, man.
That's a bummer. I was really looking forward to seeing a Siamang, because I built a Siamang sign for you.
Oh, yeah, that's right, for Balboa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which was a lovely area, by the way.
Thank you.
Compliments. Yeah, here also, just a tiny little bit. You got the habitat immersion over there with the planks.
Yeah, the wood planks. That's so cool. I'm going to do that for everything now.
Just whenever you have a glass window, just...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna call this episode like a masterclass in habitat immersion. Something like that. Yeah, here we have
just call it like Goron and Wyatt marvel over the tube.
Over the tube. Oh, hell, the tube.
Hail the tube.
But yeah, back here there's a little kid farm, but I don't think I went there because the people I was with were kind of bored. Which is why from now on I'm gonna just try to go to zoos on my own, not in weekends.
Don't these people know that zoos are only for nerds who play video games?
How dare they? But yeah, so here's the hyena area, which we missed
finally.
Earlier. So the lions are on the right, and the hyenas are over here.
Gotcha. And
it's a pretty neat habitat. Once again, a lot of those immersion techniques with there's like a road going all the way through the habitat, through several points. And look, they're playing.
I actually really like hyenas. I think they're cute.
Yeah, they're freaking amazing. And yeah, here you got a little path. I really like striped hyenas in particular. I think
Yeah,
they're
those are cool.
super cool. I actually was pretty surprised to find out how rare they are. And in next episode, always gotta find a way to put in some kind of teaser, right? In next episode, we'll see a striped hyena. So,
Oh boy.
if you do a little bit of research, you can find out which zoo that is, because there's only one Dutch zoo that has them. But yeah, here we see them passing over us.
The overhead passage. That's cool.
Yeah. So just like with the lions, we got a little tunnel here, and this is the climb everything route for the hyenas. But you at least, I would recommend going through here. So there's like bones and stuff in the wall, which and it says the strongest jaws in the animal kingdom.
Oh yeah.
Which, is that true? I thought that was
No,
crocodiles.
definitely not. Yeah, crocodiles are up there. So are hyenas too, but like obviously they're not like much against like an alligator or like a sperm whale. But,
Oh yeah, right.
yeah, they have definitely bone crushing jaws.
I mean, that's kind of their specialty. So
Yeah, for sure.
but yeah. So here we, just like with the lions, we got this kind of dome inside of the habitat. It's not a dome, but like it's a little circular here, so they can be all around you, which is really freaking sweet. And then we go through another tunnel and we get to the exit. I thought, this is the last habitat. It's not the last habitat. We've got a couple things more to go, but
Yeah.
the last climb it all route. I thought, let's just go for it. Slide and all. So over there we can see, there we can actually see the log we saw earlier when we took a little peek, when I didn't know this was a hyena habitat.
Oh.
But yeah, there you can kind of see the hyena, and on the right you could see that little sectioned off area. I wonder why they have a little pine tree there, a little Christmas tree.
I guess that must have been like a Christmas tree, like that was actually being used, and then the season ended, and they just thought it'd be some like enrichment.
Yeah, probably.
I've seen that done before in exhibits.
I mean, it's a great scratching thing.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of sense too.
So here we go through the slide. I'm not built for slides anymore. Definitely outgrew them a little bit. But yeah, that's it. So we are kind of nearing the end. We've got a couple more aviaries, and we'll have a look at the Andean bear. So how did you like your visit here?
Oh, this was fantastic. I feel bad for like never having heard of this like place before, because it has quickly risen in the ranks of zoos that I would love to visit in my lifetime. It is like, just like the approach to theming and immersion is so like next level, even in like a insane like zoo like Omaha or San Diego. Like, you don't get this kind of stuff, and it's really special.
Yeah, they really just... here's kind of interesting. You can see there's like a cage on top of the cage over there. But yeah, I totally agree. There's certainly still some older parts, but there's a huge variety in things to see. Many different approaches to habitats. I think especially from a design standpoint, this zoo is a very good one to visit and get some inspiration.
For sure. And like, in Planet Zoo, like, you usually see people approaching exhibitry like in a very sort of standard mainstream way, which isn't bad at all, but like, it's good to know like there is like a real life example of a zoo just going absolutely nuts with the immersion that I think people could learn a lot from.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, if you can think of it, you can build it, right? Like,
exactly.
I don't think there's any zoo, like even here with the aviaries.
Yeah, like, come on. Like, if there's someone with an idea and like
it's not like, oh, zoos would never build something like this. Like, no, if you can think
that's-
of it, there could be
it's
a
really
zoo
not
that
like
could
a-
build it.
Yeah, it's a pretty like reductive train of thought that even I find myself like falling into. But like you said, like if you can think of it and like if it's like viable in terms of safety, like why not? And it's also like not so much a budget thing because this zoo is clearly in like the like mid-budget. Like it still retains a lot of the old architecture,
Yeah.
but like it compensates like.
Yeah,
and
but like,
it successfully compensates with the design aspect of the enclosures.
yeah, I mean, because the thing is, like, of course, the city area is definitely the most high budget thing here. Like,
Yeah.
that probably wasn't cheap.
Absolutely.
But, like, the things like that habitat immersion, like, you can create it with just a log. Just
Yeah.
get a log, cut it in half, put it on one side of the glass and on the other side of the glass. And boom, you got habitat immersion. Like, it can be so cheap, and it's such a strong thing to do.
Yeah.
So, and that's just pure design. Just thinking smart.
I'm considering like making a tutorial series and just in terms of how to improve your work in the game, and this has given me like a ton to work with in terms of just like how to sort of be creative like on a budget and stuff like that.
Here, once
And
again, you can see that little gate. Another thing.
Yeah, it's so cool. And sometimes it really is just as simple as putting a log through a window.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I think Eben was also working on tutorials based on that book that I have.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'd like to see that. And I also need to pick up that book because that seems like a vital
it's
read.
really, really good. So, this is kind of interesting. I mentioned this, I think, in the last episode, together with Crocs, maybe? I'm not sure. But here we have a, what's the name? The Nutria, or it's a beaver rat in Dutch.
Oh.
But that's actually an invasive species.
Yeah,
And,
pretty much everywhere but South America.
Yeah, and a couple of years ago, the European Union decided that zoos have to stop housing invasive species. So there was a sign in that habitat that basically explained that, and because the last nutria had passed away, the habitat was now empty. Because the zoos are allowed to keep their current animals, but they're not allowed to breed or trade.
Yeah.
So they just have to, let them live out their days, and after that.
Yeah, because if they escape, then that's just like being part of the problem. So that makes sense.
It's a bit of a bummer because like I was surprised to see like Kawadi being one of them.
Oh really?
Yeah, and kind of bummed out because it's a really cool species.
Yeah, I didn't even consider like Kawadi to like be capable of that, but
yeah, I mean I guess if it's as long as it's able to thrive in our climate, it's it's done. But yeah, and also raccoon, which is a big bummer.
Yeah, raccoons make sense because those things can like thrive anywhere.
Yeah, but yeah. So as you can see, we're heading through the end gate. So we are gonna wrap up here.
We did it.
Thanks for joining me, Wyatt.
Of course, this was so fun, and in the event you encounter some dinosaurs living or extinct, I'll come running to pick them apart.
All right, I'll hold you to that. So everyone go check out Wyatt's channel. I think he is the first guest I had that's actually still actively making videos.
Actively is a strong word.
Okay,
I haven't made one since December, but that doesn't I don't consider like the channel to be dead by any means. I'll have something up in sometime this year, but
I saw you join ZSU.
Oh yeah. I probably won't. Well, maybe. I don't know. I just don't really have the time or motivation to make videos, but when I do, it'll happen.
We'll probably see something. I'm curious to see what you do anyway. Always love seeing your screenshots. So.
I'm hard at work on that, so in Bro Nation, that's where I'm most active. That's where you can see my work. So yeah, you can find me there in the meantime.
All right. Well, we're gonna head off because I have no idea what footage I'm gonna put here. So bye bye. See you next time.
Bye.